Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Gundam Roundtable. I am Ironcaster, and I am here once again to talk about some big robots with some big friends. And it has been a good week. We had a good little episode. We had a good little episode here, and it's going to be fun to talk about Decoy in space. But before we get into all that, I figured let's go ahead and bring the boys in. How's it going, Fenrir?
I'm doing great, and I'm here with you guys to talk about giant robots, space battles with jets, and making plans to lead people to the moon that end up failing in the middle of it all, but somehow end up resulting.
Yeah, sorry. Someone left their phone on, and of course it has to go off right in the middle of me starting this. No, it could have started like
I almost forgot.
30 seconds.
They're trying to. We're also here to speak about the fact they're trying to replace Ryu and failing because the guy doesn't give the same energy.
Well, I mean, look, no one could quite replace Ryu. I mean, hell, half the crew like went into depression when they lost him. But you're not the only one we have in the back. In fact, let's go ahead and bring on Chris. How's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad. I'm here to enjoy another pretty good episode for Gundam.
Yeah, we're going back to space today.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to go to space?
Taking the war back to where it all started. Or, well, taking the adventure back to where it all started.
Yep, they've left home, they've gone to Earth, they've killed a lot of people.
They inflicted a lot of damage against the Xeon.
Yep.
They've lost, they've won. It's been a good story so far.
So how have you guys' weeks been? I mean, obviously you did more than watch Gundam this week.
Mine's been okay. I mean, despite work, I've been hitting the gym. Simply that, but yeah, I've been doing all right.
Seeing some gains?
A few.
Hey, it's a start though. You just want to take it one day at a time. I mean, hell, I remember in Naruto, where they had like Might Guy and his team were like, I just have to be better than I was yesterday.
Nah.
Yeah. Chris, are you better today than you were yesterday?
What do you mean?
Well, just those, life improvements, doing better today than I was yesterday.
I mean, it's not too bad. It's not too worse. It's a so-so kind of day. Work went by quickly, and so I got a chance to come and relax a couple of minutes before having to join you guys.
Okay, that's a plus at least.
Yes, it is.
Ooh, feel a little something going building up there. I've been playing some more Super Robot Wars while I was off, and I've been checking out some of the other giant robot anime out there that isn't just Gundam. Like, I was checking out J. Decker, which I got to go look into that one because it seems like the mech designs are similar to some of the Transformers stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've been trying to get into other mech shows, but every time I do, they feel a lot like they kind of just feel like Gundam.
Well, I mean, that largely that's kind of because Gundam set the mold.
I mean, there were giant robot shows prior to Gundam, but Gundam completely revolutionized what it meant for a giant robot series. It no longer was giant robots versus cartoony aliens, but it became an actual genre for taking things seriously.
Yeah, it's kind of like how the MCU revolutionized storytelling.
They didn't revolutionize. No, they didn't.
Well, to which I mean, the success of, in this case, the MCU,
long stream,
everyone tried to copy
intermovie universe.
I mean, how many failed universes have come and gone? The Dark Universe, DC's doing whatever they have going on.
Yeah,
True.
DC's basically kind of given up on creating a shared universe. Instead, they're going for the multiverse, which
again is a little bit more
Marvel-
stupid because
Marvel
more
is now trying to
complicated.
copycat.
But that's going to be a whole, mess of fun to talk about on other shows. We're here.
Yeah,
to
let's
talk about
drop back
robots.
into what we were here talking about.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that,
let's get things started. Gundam fight all set. Ready? Go!
So yeah, we are on episode 31 or 30 if you don't count the dubbed episode or the missing episode. A Decoy in Space. And as per usual, we'll go through and do a little bit of that play by play. And we will begin. Let's see. When we left off last episode, we were setting up for we got the part 2 of the Battle of Jaburo with the bombs and the orphans actually doing something useful.
I mean, everyone gets their moment of shine in this show.
Yep. Let's see. Char showed back up, fought Amuro again after far too long.
Ironcaster, real quick. I don't know
What's
if
up?
you saw my message in the private chats, because I'm weird.
Let me check. Sorry, I'll check things on my end to make sure that I've got the stream up. No problem.
You're able to see it? That's weird.
Ooh. Okay, that is acting weird.
I mean, it says that we're live, but it says that
no matter if this doesn't work for some reason, I'll just upload the record.
okay. I guess that we'll just do with that. And I just was pointing that out because it's just normally I sometimes set the stream up and also have the recording so I can interact with the chat along with it, and it's just I can't do either.
All right. Well, hopefully this will get solved out. But let's get into it. So we had the orphans do their thing and save the day. Char fought Amuro in a rematch, and got to see just how much improved the Gundam is. And finally, the White Base was given the news that they would be going to space.
Yep, they're going to be launching 2 hours ahead of the forces that the Federation have been building up for their.
They'll be the Decoy.
Yeah, for their counterattack against Zeon, and this will be the first time that they're going to be able to launch a counterattack against Zeon since the war began, because they've always been on the retreat. And in fact, actually, some of the research that I did showed that the Federation's space forces were basically obliterated at the Battle of Loom. So this is them recuperating and able to rebuild.
Okay.
So this is with the White Base launching first. It's kind of diverting the attention of the Zeon so that they can the Federation can successfully launch the rest of their fleet into orbit.
So after their big board meeting where they decided the fate of the White Base, the episode begins with actual a UN meeting room. It looks like.
Yeah, I'm probably saying that this is probably a underground general assembly room for the military. Well, not general assembly, but basically a briefing room for
joint
chiefs of staff briefing room.
Yeah, where they kind of they're going over some of the basics of the plan with Brighton and Mirai, where the primary force is going to be heading on for L2 for
Luna 2.
Yeah, Luna 2. And the white base is, however, going to be taking a alternate course as a distraction to head on out
for
to
the Space Fortress Solomon.
Yep. And it's pretty basic planning. It's kind of nice to see that they actually go ahead to actually give us some information. But the interesting thing about it, about this bit, was the character stuff, because we're getting some little comments about Mirai, how she's been engaged this whole time.
Yeah, it's an arrangement by her and her fiance's parents.
I mean,
kind of makes sense, seeing how they're in a time of critical war.
Well, the marriage was set up prior to the war. I mean, her parents actually, I think they said in the show that her father's been dead for a time now.
And I'm kind of curious. Fender, did it seem like they were kind of almost hinting that they sort of like paired Bright and Mirai up?
Yeah, with her. Yeah, through the whole show since I started. Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
Yeah, because they're kind of like the mom and dad of the crew.
The whole crew, yeah.
Yeah.
There definitely has been friction for quite some time between the two, and it seems very much like,
hey, but let's be honest. In this show, a lot of fiancés end up dying. So
it seems very much like there is some there is affection between the two, early stages of love, and it seems like right here with Bright this is news to him, and he's a little jealous.
But I'm just curious, was it just the English dub, or was it kind of weird how the general there put this marriage thing out?
I would have to go back and watch the subs of it, but I assume that was largely there as well.
Yeah,
because he's just kind of commenting on it like, oh, well, we'll have to,
we'll finish this war, and after that we will be able to, because your father was such an influential member of the Federation, because of our respect for him, we're going to help you find your fiance.
So yeah, they go ahead and they just drop that on you.
Yeah, it just felt kind of rushed there.
Yeah, well,
I mean, no connection between her and that guy was shown before. Kind of.
Well, I mean,
just came out of nowhere for me.
I'd be kind of curious to get to know some more of the behind the scenes from around this time, because I mean, yeah, there's actually a manga that goes into detail over the events that happened, but to maybe get something less kind of dramatized of it, and basically be a fly on the wall and actually know and get to ask questions about what happened and what were they planning for 50 episodes.
It seems like Mirai isn't too keen on the arranged marriage. It seems like she didn't really care, especially because later on, spoiler alert, they will eventually bump into him. But she obviously doesn't have any affection for the guy. She obviously had no intention of meeting him again, because she ran off to Side 7 and live out there to avoid the war, because Side 7 was technically a neutral colony.
Right. So it looks like we're live now. There we go.
There we go. Finally.
Yeah. Sorry about that, everyone. It's just StreamYards and YouTube acting up. What can you do? So yeah, we got the marriage. We got the kind of the marriage brought up, and Bright's here is kind of fuming a little bit, like, you could have told me about this. Not that it was necessarily any of his business, but they've got more pressing matters because, well, one, we we have the new mystery character being introduced here, but they also have to go to launch in an hour.
Yeah,
And let's talk about this guy, Mr. Sliger Law.
Lieutenant.
Who
Yeah, he
is
seems like
Law.
he seems like the Joker kind of loose cannon.
Well, honestly,
Oh, he's a fighter
comes
jock.
off more like Shaggy from Scooby Doo type.
He's a fighter jock, and traditionally fighter jocks are kind of portrayed as being arrogant, as being loose on the rules and stuff like that. So I mean, he's a fighter jock, plain and simple.
Yeah, and it's like, and like immediately, like one of the first things he does is immediately starts hitting on all the women.
Yeah.
It's, you gotta forget, like, oh right, these are humans. Humans act like this.
Yeah.
Because it's so like outside the norm for entertainment today that it just comes off as refreshing to me.
Yeah, don't really get that much these days. Now you kind of have the men all in weird roles, and the women are the ones who are going to be running the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Which at least we have some older classic animations and classic series we can go back to like this.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and every time they lead, it ends up being a clusterfuck. The strategies are awful, pretty stupid. Look, it's just
Okay,
shitty writing.
Fenrir, shut up.
I was like, let's not start jumping to too many conclusions because, hey, YouTube,
I mean, did you?
Mama Susan,
Fenrir,
What
shut up.
about conclusions? Watch 355.
Fenrir, shut up.
that was bad for a number of reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so shut up.
Yeah, sorry. It's like let's try not to get too much into too much of the modern entertainment because that is culture war. That is not what we want to get into too much here. Like I don't mind talking about it, but I want to
right
have
now we're focused on Gundam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't like to step up over two people too much, but yeah, Slager is great.
He's definitely very interesting, and like I said, it would be very interesting if he would have become a fighter pilot, a mobile suit pilot, get a gun cannon or gym or something like that.
Oh man, imagine if they even like gave the white base like 1 GM.
I do know that in the other mangas and also the movie trilogy, the last movie, The Encounter in Space, they took the gun cannon off, the gun tank off the white base and gave him another gun cannon.
Well, the gun tank is so great though.
I mean, but the thing is how effective is a gun tank going to be in space in 0G, where there's no land?
Yeah, it does. I mean,
for all I know, the gun tank could still be on board the white base in the movie, but
like
it was put in storage.
It seems like, I mean, hell, in this episode, they go and effectively just tape it down to the like roof of the white base just to like give them an extra cannon.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, is how effective is the gun tank going to be in 0G? None really.
Yep. I don't think that much.
So I mean, it's understandable that they would replace the gun tank with with a second gun cannon.
And it's like he's got a great character design to him too. I like he's got the hat kind of off tilted a little bit. And hello there.
Hey there, Arden Filiano.
Hello.
Felicano. Yeah. Oh yeah. The guy's he's got such a great design, and also him being a lieutenant. Is he of the same rank with Bright? I mean, Bright being the captain is technically outranks him here,
yeah,
but
I mean,
off the ship.
Trying to think as to what rank Bright was at least a
Wasn't it?
ensign.
Yeah, it was
He
a
was
lieutenant, right?
he was an ensign when he was when the show started. He went up a couple ranks. If I'm trying to remember.
No, I remember in the previous episode they were calling off their names, and he was called as lieutenant.
Probably.
So maybe.
Pretty sure.
The only thing that that Slayer has on him is age.
Yeah, which he's probably, what, 26?
Slayer? He is...
So I can look right.
He is... Doesn't say.
Not important.
I'd probably say that he's maybe in his late 20s, early 30s.
He kind of
looks like it to me. He looks like that to me, anyways.
I mean, well, considering that Mario was supposed to be like Super Mario was supposed to be like 26.
Yeah, but and Bright, he's 19.
Yeah.
So I mean,
like I could believe him being like 26.
So I mean, yeah. So I mean, he's got a good almost 10 years on Bright. And then we get to see the White Base leave the space docks of Jaburo.
Mm-hmm.
After everyone gets locked down.
Yep, everyone kind of stopping, and then we get that last little bit of everyone basically saying they're getting those last little views of Earth.
Yeah, and then we get this. It's somewhat of a famous scene in Gundam when they're all when the ship's taken off.
Yeah, we get a bunch of birds flying by, which it's always kind of nice. Always nice to see a little bit of just sometimes little things like like the random birds flying by and all the flamingos.
Yeah, the kids are all
stop and we're like, yeah, go ahead and take some video of that because who knows if we'll ever be back.
I mean, this is the last time that White Base will be on Earth.
Yeah, this should be the last time we're on that. The crew's on Earth for the rest of the series.
Yep. And then dun dun dun.
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom, Shar and Mulligan are heading onto the Zanzibar to blast off into space with their big experimental Xeon rocket because. Yet again, Xeon has multiple
weapons,
experimental tools here.
Actually,
I gotta say, I enjoyed the soundtrack here. The soundtrack of the ship flowing off, it was pretty good.
Oh, yeah?
The Zanzibar is not entirely that new. It's probably a good year or so old. So they've had it around for a while.
Either way, it is a ridiculously giant rocket.
Yeah, I mean, the Zanzibar may be the rocket and the Zanzibar may be a older technology, but it definitely shows how much the Federation technology has surpassed because the White Base being basically the newest class of vessel for both comparable on both sides does not need additional thruster output. It does it on its own. Whereas the Zanzibar needs it.
I'm reminded here, and I'm sure this is by no means a coincidence or anything. This reminds me of the big giant Yahtzee cannon.
The what?
Hi, Cosmic.
Hey. Yeah, no, the big Nazi cannon. That was like a train track to move.
Well, there's several. The German and it wasn't just the National Socialists. It was primarily the German. It was primarily the German Empire in World War I.
But like I said, it's just the scale and the way this is built up. It looks like it is a big imposing thing, which. To kind of one of the things I was kind of noticing and watching The white base has a traditionally white engines, and this has these big, intense, like orange, yellow, red, heat
Yeah.
engines coming off.
Well, like I said, is that in comparison, the white base being
And when I say
more,
coming off, I mean it's coming off.
yeah, it's ejected. And like
Yeah,
it's like I said, is that the white base is of newer technology, so it does, and it's more advanced than any other ship in both the Federation and Xeon. So I mean, it doesn't need that additional engine to help it get into space.
Right. So back in space, Char is contemplating their next move when he is shown the Big Row, yet another Xeon experimental
Mobile
weapon.
armor. Another mobile
the
armor.
second. Yeah, the second or third now
Second.
mobile armor.
Seriously, the Xeon must have the best minds in the war.
I mean, yes. I mean, Xeon did have a lot of intellectuals in their circles, but they did not know how to mass produce much after the production of the Zaku.
Well, I mean, hey, at least for once they decided to recycle something, and now they just put a new jetpack on some DOMs.
Yeah, and added additional verniers to the DOMs, making the Rick DOM.
And their plan is to, of course, to follow and track down the white base to get the Gundam. Meanwhile, Sayla is still contemplating over her recent interactions with Char, thinking about the fact that she now knows that yes, her brother is in fact an enemy, and how is she going to have to deal with this? But furthermore, especially considering the fact that he's outright opposing them, he's fighting them. So she's left to ask to, struggle with this. Like, how does she come to terms with this?
She is going to have to make a choice eventually to whether to fight her brother or not.
Yeah. What did you think, Fenrir? Fenrir?
I think we may have lost Fenrir.
I think so.
I would suggest muting him until he may say something in the mic in the private chat.
All right, we'll give him a little mute for a minute, and he should be able to unmute himself.
Yes.
So we're kind of it's bouncing back and forth a bit with. Actually. Okay, so Cosmic. What you can do, and it's probably the easiest thing for accessibility, is to go onto Netflix to watch the movie adaptations of. They did a trilogy of movies of what is this show?
Yeah, the original TV series came out in '79. A year or two afterwards, when Gundam actually became popular because of the Gunpla model kits, they re-edited the movies. They re-edited the TV series into a movie trilogy, which is the technically canon timeline.
Let's read. Well, in that case,
Crunchyroll has the TV series. I could possibly send you a link to a website that has a lot of anime and that has that would be rightstuffanime.com, where you can of course buy Gundam, which is what we of course are going to suggest. Right, Chris? Possibly.
Let's check on Fenrir. You okay there? I'm guessing he might have fallen asleep.
Yeah. But the one drawback is that the movie trilogy doesn't have an English dub. It's only in English subs.
I
But
thought I
that
remember seeing it with an English dub because I could have sworn I remember.
did at one point, but they were all discontinued and they have all basically been erased because the English dub's horrible.
Yeah, because they don't think was it Bright or Shard they give like a British accent to.
I have no clue. I never heard the English dubs. I know that a lot of the dubs were off. They like people would speak and no one is actually speaking and stuff like that. It was just bad. So,
I mean, largely you can probably just kind of go for the most part in release order of many series up through like 94 when G Gundam came out. I mean, yeah. After War, Gundam X is also a thing there, but no. I mean, so the dub we've been using for this is was done in like the early. It was actually 2001 was when was when Gundam first aired on US. So it was like after post 2000. You're basically in that golden era where you were getting stuff like Yu Yu Hakusho on the air.
yes, trying to think.
And also, I think
That was-
Dragon Ball Z was still being released new.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It was released on like Toonami and stuff like that. I think the originally Gundam Wing was aired in the North American continent. That got a lot of Westerners' attention, and so after Gundam Wing, then they did Mobile Suit Gundam, 8th MS Team, so on and so forth.
I like and I don't like Gundam Wing at the same time because it's I see it largely as the like if this I'll see if this makes sense. The Final Fantasy VII of Gundam, where it is just the two-tongue gorilla of the franchise that most people are kind of latch onto as their favorite, and it's hard to get people. It can be hard to get some people to take any interest in anything else outside of Gundam Wing.
I mean, you either like Gundam Wing or you don't, because I've heard it from a lot of people that like Gundam that Gundam Wing has its issues, plotline issues where it goes back and forth, and Gundam Wing is kind of the boy band of Gundam because you have the bad boy, you have like two bad boys, you have the quiet boy who has a past, you have the good boy, you have the jokester. It's like I said, it's the boy band of Gundam.
Also, since I'm thinking about it, if you check the official Gundam YouTube channel, Gundam Info, they'll oftentimes put episodes up, which can be from many different series. So you've got,
in fact, actually, Gundam Info YouTube channel has the original Gundam movie trilogy, so that's where you can also find it too.
In fact, let me just to pull it up. Here's their channel, 1.9 million.
That's G Gundam right there. G Gundam is kind of like Dragon Ball with giant mobile suits instead of superpowers.
It's a lot of fun.
It is.
This was 94 when all of anime was super into fighting tournaments.
They do Dragon Ball like stuff. So they do energy blasts and ridiculously, insanely stupid moves.
Yeah, basically.
There is a martial arts form of fighting giant robots.
Yeah.
You told me about this.
And also a secret alliance of the world's best fighters who have been maintaining peace or maintaining the rules of warfare for several 100,000 years or something like that.
Themed after the suits of cards.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, yeah. It's a fun one to watch. Also, like every single country has a mobile suit. So And they're all loosely based on various stereotypes. Like like France has a Gundam that is effectively a knight with rose petals.
Mm-hmm. And then the United States, Neo America, their Gundam is
Has a
basically
football player Gundam.
football playing cowboy
With
boxer
a skateboard.
And a
Okay, does he have insane amounts of bazookas, missiles, and guns?
No, sadly not.
He just has that raw guts and gumption where he's just like, yeah, I'm an American. I'm gonna box you.
And then there's Neo Mexico's Gundam, which looks like it has a giant sombrero on its head.
It's everyone's favorite. Also called the Tequila Gundam.
Yes, the Tequila Gundam.
God, why do I hope it plays El Cucaracha in the background every time he fights?
Oh, yeah, it is. There is so much insane nonsense.
Yeah. Sadly, like the very end of it, it's like, oh, we'll see in the next Gundam tournament, which we've been waiting for 20 years, 20 plus years, 20, 30 years.
30 years. As if that doesn't sink in.
Yeah. A lot of people have been demanding for another G Gundam season.
Oh yeah. Also Crossbones.
Yeah, sadly Crossbones never got an appropriate after F91. Crossbones didn't get a proper adaptation outside of the manga, which I find that criminally underappreciated.
Well, let's see. Let's get back to this, shall we?
Let's see here. So, yeah.
So they're kind of going over the trajectory of where they expect the white base to be going, which they seem to think is heading
to the moon,
heading for the lunar base.
Granada, the base that the Zeons have control on the moon, which is on the dark side of the moon. F91 Gundam F91 was a movie that was originally going to be a TV series, but they changed their minds and it was a movie in the 80s, and it's basically 100 years into the future from the events of the TV show / the Gundam series.
Yeah, there's space pirates.
Yeah, so space pirates take over this cluster of space colonies and declare themselves the Neo-Babylonian Empire and wage a war against the Federation,
led by a guy in a big helmet.
Yep. Which
not that there's a recurring pattern of that or anything.
Yeah, in every Gundam series, there is a masked figure and a masked figure of sorts. They're all known as Char clones, which is based after this guy.
Yeah, which I should also point out that it's not even just like Gundam. Like other anime started doing Char clones.
Yeah.
And he's calling you out. He's pointing out the obvious there for himself.
Yeah, whatever. I like to talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Char, however, has apparently read the script. He seems to know exactly what the white base is up to.
Leave it to the bad guy to read ahead.
Mm-hmm. I wish I need that clip of like King John from Robin Hood Men in Tights pulling out the script.
Prince John.
Yeah, Prince John. And so they opt to instead go for battle.
He gets another shot.
He gets another shot.
And then there goes Char's lackey, Takwon, going out in the big row.
Which we get to see yet another mobile armor getting deployed. This is the second new mobile suit, actually third in 3 episodes.
Mobile armor.
Mobile suit and mobile armor. And so the white base crew, however, meanwhile, was preparing for battle.
Yeah. So they had the Gundam and G Fighter divided into its various components.
Yep. Better. It's like, as good as it would be just to do the smart thing here and apparently launch the Gundam at the start. They decide they should probably launch two troops, launch just the two.
Yeah.
And see if they can just get away with picking off peons.
Now, I mean, I can understand the G Fighter modules being useful for helping the Gundam when various parts of the Gundam are under repair and stuff like that. But I mean, to outright do it from the very beginning, it's just to sell toys, basically.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Which sadly, originally the toys and merchandise for Gundam tanked. And if it wasn't for the Gunpla model kits, Gundam would have disappeared into obscurity.
So one of the things about the Big Row here is it is apparently very fast in space because you don't have to worry about things actually having to make sense flying in space with big horns.
Oh, they think that in space there's still inertia, which there is not. So when you see various scenes of like the pilots being thrown back into their seats, it's like, no, that actually wouldn't happen.
And so seeing this, I'm kind of reminded of as it's swooping by incredibly fast, a giant bird of prey that's now clutched a smaller animal in its clutches. But, which, given the position that Sayla's in, you would think this is the perfect position for her to be in. But she's haunted by those concerns over the possibility that this could be her brother. Yeah. Though she really I feel like we should point out that this thing isn't painted red. Meaning Char's not piloting it.
Well, there have been some rules to the exception.
Oh.
Spoilers.
Yeah, but apparently they haven't been paying attention because it's like every time they've come across Char, he's in a red suit.
Yeah. A red Zaku and the red Zagak. And real quick, if anyone cares, I'll be posting a link to a website that has the Gundam watch order that you can use to whether watch through release order or chronological.
Yep. Good job. Thanks for posting that. Ooh. Let's see.
So then you have the three kids who are saying that they're going to go back to the aft of the ship to fire missiles at the oncoming enemies.
Yeah, the orphans are still. The orphans are. I was going to say fighting this battle to their credit.
I mean, hey, they're being productive.
No, yeah, that's always kind of the like atmosphere, the sort of personality he gives off. Like he's always like got a little bit of a buzz. Like I imagine he probably keeps a flask on him.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, like man, he's so freaking cool. He probably like sits down in his mobile suit and just puts on like the Gambit gloves with like fingers cut out.
Oh God, you know what? I probably would believe that. If
I feel like we just like build up the myth of Lieutenant Slager. Slager once stole the Gundam and took it for a beer run.
Oh God. Oh dear.
Slager once took the Gundam to get 20 chicks in a night.
Oh yeah, I believe it. Slager drank Rondo Ral under the table because Slager has the charisma, the machismo to walk right into a Xeon base and drink with the leaders. However, we get Char meanwhile, plotting and planning ahead in preparations for using their big cannons. And with that,
We're at the halfway mark of the episode.
So Slager's been ordered to go head off for the cannons to prepare for firing those, and Char meanwhile is ready to play a game of chicken with him to see who's. Yep, and it's an interesting bout because you know that there's going to be a big fight here, and it's kind of nice to see ship to ship combat for a change.
Yeah,
and
there's something also that you need to be aware of, that we all need to be aware of, is where are they at this present moment in time? Their location. They're several hundred miles above. Oh, geez. That, and Bright back there, like, hey, that's my girl.
Bright's just jealous because he's gotten closer to her
than you'll ever do.
In this show, at least.
Mm-hmm.
But so I mean, remember this is that where's the White Base and where is Shar Zanzibar at this present time? They're several hundred miles above, several hundred thousand millions or whatever miles above above the Earth.
They've basically just like barely broken the atmosphere.
They're currently vying to get to a safe orbit over the Earth, because if they make one slip up, they could fall back to Earth.
Yeah, you know, I was kind of reminded when I saw Slager here. He looks like the pirate captain from Venture Brothers.
Pirate captain.
Yarr.
I mean, I can kind of see that.
The dirt monkey's on me back, and she's howling for blood.
Let me have this damn sargassum.
But I mean, Slayer Law, he's definitely a loose cannon kind of guy. So putting him in charge of the main guns on the White Base, good move.
They've got to put him on a gun that can't move, so he can't go off for another beer run.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a chance to show it off earlier, but this is the pirate of the Big Row.
The pilot, yeah, the Takwon.
Yeah, and I like his helmet with the logo,
the skull.
Yeah, and how it looks enough like the Big Row itself.
The bowl looks like a bowl of his head.
Yep.
Hey, I mean, who says that Xeon soldiers can't decorate their helmets?
I mean, there's enough faction symbols that all the different troop deployments have different like skulls and roses and all that. And hey, Cosmic, don't worry, brother. I'll be talking with you tomorrow, and maybe we can get you on one of these days to talk about some big bots.
Maybe, yeah. So there's the Big Row sending out several missiles towards the G sky.
Launch the missiles, but I am late tired. And of course they miss.
Oh, of course.
Oh shit! Oh man, Cosmic, that is. I gotta pull that up. Don't forget to smash that like button like an NBA player who just met his first Kardashian. Nothing.
Yeah.
No.
Jeez, that's a little.
Yeah, it looked like they practically deep fried the image
Yeah, a little bit.
or bleached it out. But yeah, that's how like, they always do it. Like, oh, the rather than give you a big strobing like epilepsy bits of lighting, you just get it going, getting whitened out. And everyone loves the Dom. Everyone's that little kendo unit, which is giving them a lot more trouble than they expected.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. He still hasn't gotten into his seat yet.
Oh yeah, because right at that moment he's at the previous shot he was trying to convince Bright to turn the white base around. Now we're about ready to get to the point where he is going to have the white base turned around.
He wants Bright to do donuts in space, or to like Tokyo drift the white base.
Okay, you ever seen a regular show? It felt like Muscle
No.
Man from there.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Chris, you gotta watch regular show. It's pretty good stuff.
I've seen advertisements for it. Not interested.
I mean, there's even this episode where it pretty much is a huge play on Gundam, if you think about it. And a couple of Ultrons, too.
Yeah.
So they decide to go ahead and kick Kai out because, hey, I don't have it anymore. But yeah, Kai is still kind of being all mopey about Miharu.
Yeah, but he says at this moment in time, saying, I need to get over her.
Yeah, he's growing as a character, and that's good to see.
Yeah, it is kind of nice to see that it wasn't just tossed aside and it's never brought up again for that that character growth that he has. But they sent him out into space. Like, Kai, go be mopey out there and let you do something. So Sayla has been effectively thrown off thrown off course in being on a course to head into the Earth's atmosphere. So Amuro has to go save her, and slows her descent down so he can then combine the Gundam. Sometimes you wonder, like, why don't we just do this from the start? It's like in things like Power Rangers, like, how many times could they have just solved the problem just by summoning the big
turning
robot
straight to
from
the
start?
Zords.
Yeah, exactly. And so we finally get our showdown. The Zanzibar versus the white base. The white base shoots its load and misses. And Char, not wanting to wanting to let them blow their wad so he can get closer, has them pushed straight through the enemy fire so they can get closer and can fire back. To which Bright realizes Sayla was right, that this is indeed Char chasing them. Char, because you've only had to deal with Char for like 2 months, you would think you know what he's up to. And so we get our ships doing the what would be the cannon fire as the two ships steadily go past one another, which it's kind of it's a great shot. That really reminds you that this is basically a naval bout.
Yeah, a naval carrier, but in space.
Well, I mean, kind of like how I'm reminded in in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, it's really like basically a story about submarines fighting
In
is
space.
even what. Yeah, and it's just space is just that further extension of that. Space is a sea of stars. So we get that cool shot as Shar fires and heads on out, and we get a flash here for Sayla. Chris, I mean, or even Fenrir. They always seem to kind of play with the idea that there's something more, that there's something they've been kind of teasing for a while with what will come to be known as new types. And this is one of those moments where they're laying it on a bit, where Sayla here is able to seemingly know what's about to happen as she dodges the fire, like tilts 90 degrees and gets off that perfect shot. And of course, we get a nice little explosion for it as reward. Don't you feel good getting your little boom boom reward?
A small nuclear explosion, because
space.
there is, after all, a small nuclear reactor in every single mobile suit and mobile armor and battleship.
Yep. And just to remind you that, hey, the mobile armor is still here.
And he doesn't like having a passenger.
Right. He's pointed out that like it has some extra mass added to it, which space.
But and Amuro is a
sudden,
little wonked out.
Yeah, the sudden shift in the sudden acceleration has knocked Amuro out. He's gone cold. Which leaves them in the perfect place to move the Gundam up so he can expose his
mouth laser.
Yeah, we'll still say his laser. It's like, oh, you know,
it kind of makes me think of a praying mantis about to eat something, eat a prey.
I was gonna bring up Mega Man, where this is kind of one of those cases where you're waiting for the enemy to open the big eye up that you then have to shoot.
Well, I mean, in this case, Amuro had to wait until he could be at the same speed as the big Ro in order to get it.
Yeah, it's like when Amuro fought the big underwater ship, the big underwater mobile armor.
Yes,
it made the mistake of
grab Ro.
Yeah, of destroying his leg and freeing him. This one gave up and that's such a great thing to put in, that he by having all this happen, it effectively gave up the one advantage it had, which was that superiority of movement, and also then brought him in close where he could get a point blank shot off.
Yep.
Man, I mean, gotta admit that shot's pretty great.
You know, where you get that little close zoom up on the Gundam itself, and it slowly pans out for the money shot.
Yeah.
And then Colonel Underbite. Colonel Underbite is told that they're going to be withdrawing. I'm like, Jesus, look at that guy. He's
well, he probably got into a couple brawls,
or got hit in the head too many times.
And so Sayla's left after the battle, contemplating and wondering if, in fact, about her brothers some more. That the person in the armor could have been him, and presumably if she's contemplating about whether or not she could actually pull the trigger and how well she can fight, knowing that this could be her brother. But of course, that's all interrupted by Slager showing up to kind of want a job well done, and he asked Mirai to join him in the shower. And so says, "All right, well, guys, we're gonna go hit the showers and get the brewskis." I don't care.
Yeah,
Slager
yeah,
would buy.
Kind of funny how he, yeah, he would. He's like that older dude who would not care about your age. He'd buy it for you.
Don't.
But kind of funny how he suggests is for Slay and to join in on that. Kind of fun for that.
Yeah, jeez.
He would be HR's nightmare.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, he wouldn't be around today too long. Whew. So yeah, that was our episode, A Decoy in Space, where we get to see that the Federation was right, that the White Base should continue to be that decoy.
Hey, I mean, they did such a good job in the previous month of the war, distracting Zeons with from the Federation leading up to the Operation Odessa.
Still, kind of. This was a good one. I'm gonna give it my score. I give it a 9.5. It was a good episode. Introduced us to a new fun character. Animation was on point. I enjoyed the soundtracks, and the space battle was cool. 9.5.
Yeah,
I would have given it a 10, but they didn't get shot on a Gundam. So yeah, that wasn't enough.
Yeah, it would be great to see some more of those iconic battles, but you get to see that you get to see the White Base fighting another ship of comparable size, which I think is something we haven't got to see in so long. It's otherwise just been like a couple of.
Well, technically never. I mean, the other ships were all smaller. In comparison.
I mean, we saw a little bit of that like super early in the show when they were like struggling just to make sense of how to drive the thing. But now they're fighting as much better combatants.
One well-oiled machine.
Yeah. They got resources. They got some supplies. They got some actually skilled hands on deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 9.5, gentlemen. That is my score for this one.
All right. So what do you think about the issue with what do you think about the Sayla part of it though?
Well, I think it kind of came out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, they've been kind of playing with this for a while now, and they're showing that she's not just letting it go. She's still thinking about it.
Oh wait, crap! I kind of confused the two.
With Sayla and Mirai.
Yeah, I confuse the two sometimes. Yeah, it's going well built. I mean, it's good that they didn't just leave it behind like the other previous times and just went forward with it. It's good where this is going. It's good where this is going.
Okay.
I always confuse the name of the two.
Sorry, little gas. Chris, what do you think about, say, the advancements, or the introduction of all the mole armors? I mean, it's a shame we don't see anything like the Big Row again. Well, I mean, we see other ones, but it's that unfortunate side effect of they keep introducing new experimental things to work with.
Well, I mean, it adds another layer of threat and power by Zeon. But I mean, if you know of like when it comes to warfare, if you constantly are producing new stuff, without establishing like a proper chain of supply and everything, or taking stock of your resources, you're going to wear your war effort down. And that's exactly what Xeon is doing. They're so up in trying to say, let's build a new gun every minute. They forget to think, okay, well, we found something decent. Let's mass produce it now.
If anything, it seems like they come across with much more hyper specialization, that they don't worry, that they make a lot of very specific mobile suits for specific reasons. We had the underwater mobile armor. We had the water suits intended for assaulting naval bases. We've had the ones that are the multiple different mobile suits that seem to be intended for invading via water.
I mean, yeah, you have the aquatic mobile suits. You have the space variant. You have the terrestrial variant. Yeah, it kind of hurts the war effort because you have all these different varieties. It's much like what happened to the Nazis during World War II. The Nazis had some of the best tanks of the war, but the thing is they had so many varieties without standardization or mass production that in the end it hurt their war effort, and it compared to the Allies and the Soviets, who were mass producing not as powerful,
not as many varieties, but
not as powerful,
they
and not as
outnumbered them.
many varieties. But yes, they
Oh crap!
turned
Okay,
the war
look at the
effort
time.
against.
Guys, I'm gonna have to go. It's getting late
Alright.
for me. I need to wake up early in the morning for the gym. All right, peace to both of you. Stay safe,
Alright.
and I'll see you next week. Talk more about Gundam.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Peace.
So, Chris, what would you give the episode then?
8 and 8. Okay. It's not one. It's. I mean, the episode's fun and all. It's not really my most favorite episode, but it's okay. It's a good one. It's a good episode. It's a good transition episode. I know that when it comes to the movie trilogy, they merge this episode along with the next one, and they kind of merge it into one single event.
Okay.
Which is what they do with a lot of what happens when you transition from the TV series to the movie. And it kind of there feels like there's more that happens in that section of the movie than in this episode.
Oh, sorry. I have been up for quite a while today, so quite a long day, so it's catching up with me here. Yeah. So for myself, I've constantly talked about how one of the things I like about Gundam is there's this. It seems like this constant evolution of the battle, where for a lot of the show you got to see that for that struggle for them is increasingly of new challenges coming, where they have more struggles to overcome. And we've gotten to a point now where the Gundam and the White Base crew are now going back to a familiar location. This is similar to the hero's journey, where it's traditionally going back to returning home changed. And this is going to space, going to a familiar battlefield where they now have to adapt again back to space.
Yeah.
With the skills, the new skills they have learned, and how to adapt those to a familiar setting. I think it's going to be really interesting to see where things go. And with Fenrir's gone, especially considering what you were seeing here is what you're really seeing here for the first time is the hints of the new types that you get in this last third of the film of the series.
Yeah, as well as also the relationships between our various characters. You
Right.
have Sayla accepting that her brother is Shar Aznable. and you have the relationship between Mirai and Bright, getting that not just one but two monkey wrenches thrown in with Slayer Law hitting on Mirai, as well as the Bright finding out that she has a fiance, that she is already.
Yeah, there's effectively two other suitors.
So I mean, this isn't just a love triangle; it's a love square.
Mm-hmm. So I guess for my own goal, for my own rating, I probably would put it at about an 8 as well. I would have liked to see a little more build up with over the rest of the series, a little bit more build up with the Sayla stuff, Mirai, with that, like kind of Fenrir was saying, that kind of came out of nowhere, and I'm kind of inclined to agree that we haven't really had much of a chance to even build anything like that up or suggest there was something there like that. I would probably like to see going forward. I would like to see, Kai in space again. Let's make use of that gun cannon more. That thing exists, and it's just always kind of on the side, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
But we've gotten a lot of decent character growth over the series so far, to where it seems like almost all of the major characters have had some big growth. With the exception so far being Hayato and Frau Bo.
Well, luckily they're going to have their little moment later on.
All right, but this series, it seems like there should have been a little more of that.
Even the kids have their moment. And
right, hell, we just got last we just got last episode with them being the basically the
heroes.
Story of it.
They're basically heroes, because if they did not run away from that child care center and into the GM factory, the same GM factory that Amuro, Kai, and Hayato were driving to, the white base would have been down 3 of their pilots, and also a hit to the Federation's war effort would have happened. So but this episode definitely kind of felt a little like a filler, but it had some excitement to it still.
I wouldn't even say
it was a transitionary episode. Let's go with that.
It's a transitionary episode,
because you're going from space to Earth, and nothing massive changes, except for that another mobile armor that the Xeon made was destroyed, and further improving Amuro's prowess.
So, all right. So to kind of wrap things up here a bit, what have you guys got coming up this week? You're doing a show on Thursday?
We're still doing our show on Thursday. We now, for those that you don't know, Jace and I on the 540 Studios for the Beyond show. We are now going to be doing episodes on Monday and Thursday to kind of hit a couple more, try and hit a few more articles as we possibly can. Because on Thursdays we just don't feel like we get everything, so we're going to do a little more. Besides that, we're trying to get around to maybe doing movie reviews. So doing basically like a 45-minute or to an hour episode, pre-recorded episodes of reviewing various movies, trying to do some more positive reviews versus constantly hating on every single thing that's produced now. So we'll probably be doing more of older movies, or even TV shows.
Oh, I've got a movie for you guys to watch.
Oh, we've already kind of got. Well, yeah, just mention to me maybe at some point in time, and we kind of already
we'll keep that for a little surprise for later.
A slate. We've already got a slate of movies planned for coming up.
I know you need me. Come on, I gotta throw you a curveball.
Oh, I know. And at some point in time, we're hoping to get our Tales from the Jedi Archives, which was our Sunday episode, rebooted. We just kind of taking one step at a time right now. So you'll be seeing us on Thursday afternoon if you are in the North American or Thursday evening or afternoon if you're on the North American continent or South American continent. So come join us and let's have some fun.
Oh, we gotta. Oh, good night there, Mr. King Dolphin. Everyone, be sure to check him out. I'll probably have to go and update my links. Which, by the way, for anyone who's watching, the links for these and other fine channels can be found below in the description. If you like what we do here, let us know in the comments. Hit us up on social media. And have a good day. Take care, everyone.